So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So, this is going to be my pre-Blitz stream. I plan to go pretty hard, but I haven't done any prep yet, so that's what we're going to do. While waiting for people to join, I'm going to do some daily PvP. I actually have a lot of PvP footage recorded as some filler content while I grind the Blitz this weekend. I've been using a lot of the new legends in PvP. Hey. I got some people joining. I have a new layout. The idea for the layout was that I am supposed to be able to have the chat displayed. I'm going to see if I can get it to work. It's a shame it didn't work. Hello there, Forest. Hello everybody joining. Let's YOLO and see if this pops up. It's decent. Let me try. Like, this is a temporary solution because I'm too lazy doing it properly. But I think I can make it passable at least, which is good enough in my book. So what do I need to do? It disappeared again, it looks like. Okay, it's back. Let's try and move it again. Want to change this a bit. A bit more. Hey, that actually looks pretty good. We need to remove this a bit. Or I need to add a bit, I think. No, subtract. How does this look now? Isn't this pretty decent? I have to look into how I get rid of the heart though. I did watch a video about it, but I don't know if I can remove it in OBS since I stream through OBS. But yeah, looks like we won. I've been focusing on this now. But yeah, I know that for people watching afterwards, it's very annoying not having the chat, so I decided to finally take the time and make some kind of solution to it. And it's what I like best. It's a half-arsed solution. But yeah, I need to move it a bit from the right too. Maybe like 100? No, that's too much. Perfect. Okay. Now it actually looks like a real stream for the first time. This is still not my long-term layout. I just made some small changes. And since I had so much blank space in the middle, I decided to add this temporary banner. But I think I'll use this for a few months. I can't be bothered to change it all the time. My main pressing concern is how do I get rid of that heart. But we'll see if I look at that for tomorrow or maybe next week. Okay, let's check some actual chat messages now. TrueMod asked, which rank are you aiming for the Blitz battle? That's a very hard question. Let me think about the answer while I post the stream to my Discord, which I should have already done, but I got sidetracked with fixing the layouts. But okay, let's talk a bit about the Blitz, my plans. Okay, so I decided to go pretty hard. I still think it's unrealistic for me to win, but I'm going to give myself the potential of going as good as I can. I know myself, and I know that not sleeping at all is totally out of the question. I can't survive over 2 days without sleeping. That's literally impossible. So the question is, what can I do then? Okay, so what I can do is to prepare so that I can start as strong as possible. I can have a lot of options ready, which is the goal of this stream. I can make sure that I don't have a lot of distractions, which is why I am at my secondary location where I am completely by myself. I don't face Sorrow on defense. Let me just find that game here. That's actually pretty interesting to face. Let me try that with the Roger team. Another people asking about my goal for stream. Marty, hey, welcome. Eric asked, when does the Blitz start? It starts 6 hours after news hour. In terms of hours, it's like 13 hours from now. But yeah, basically my goal is to play non-stop, except for when I sleep. And I plan to sleep around 3-4 hours the first day. And then honestly, when we get to the second evening, I will decide, do I go all the way, try and pull an all-nighter? But that will require some immense motivations. I really need to be in the running for a solid position. Or do I settle for what I've done? I might be able to get a top 20, maybe top 10 instead, which is nothing special, but I give up. So basically I know that I can manage until that point. The point is, like, at that point, is it worth for me to sacrifice a night of sleep to go on that grind? And I don't know yet. We'll see. Oh, chat is not scrolling. Looks like I have to keep this up. Maybe I can use another window for next time, but for today, we'll have to have it a bit half-arsed. I really want to get rid of that heart. But yeah, I'll do my best, and we'll see how good the best of an oldie like me actually is. It might not be worth much, but we'll see. Anyway, let's make some teams. That's the point of this stream. Basically, my plan for tomorrow is that I have teams. We're going to make the first team we use, and then depending on what we see, I can easily just swap to other options that will realistically happen. So those are the options we're going to be discussing, and so on. And basically, it's a bit cool here, not gonna lie. we have a big snowstorm where I live now. When I went here early after taking the bus, it was hard just moving around in the storm, to be honest. But yeah, preparing for stream. And I'm thinking that I'm going to try and stream a lot. I'll basically do 6-turn blitz. I'll basically be streaming not all the time, but quite a lot. And while I stream, I'll also take some breaks to move around, because it's not good to just sit all the time. So, yeah, that's the plan. Hello there, Jefferson, and the rest of you joining. Very happy to have you here. So yeah, it's going to be the most I've ever streamed. So we'll see how that goes. It might be that the chat makes me lose focus, or that the chat helps me keep focus. I don't know. I've never done it, but it's going to be interesting. So I basically think that I'm going to try and stream from the Blitz begins to a bit before I go and eat dinner, and there I take a few hours off streaming, and then I'm going to do a late evening into the night stream, my local time, and try and play until like 3 a.m, 4 a.m. Then I'm going to get my sleep, because I know that if I push through too long there, I'm not going to be able to fall asleep, and there's no reason for me to do an all-nighter the first night. I'm going to get some sleep the first night. Then I'll get up and start farming right away, and then stream again, probably. Hello there, everybody joining. Laughing at you, and you says top 10 at least. Honestly, might be hard even getting top 10. A lot of people are committing to go hard, and Blitz is not my specialty. I think Blitz is incredibly boring, one of the worst modes in the game. But I've never really ranked that good on a Blitz. My best Blitz ever was the local sea monster Blitz, that is a raid now. I got top 10 on that. I'm not sure if I've got top 10 after that. Maybe on that Passione Blitz, where we did good. Maybe I sneaked into the top 10, I don't remember. But I definitely not on a top 3 in the modern era. So doing that would be good, but I don't know if it's possible. There's actually a lot of RNG in the Blitz as well, in terms of drops. So if you get bad drops and the others get good ones, like, you're also kinda effed, to be honest. Yam the Yam says, hey Chauzu, really appreciate the Gear 5 PKA team you posted recently, love from Canada. Yeah, I'm super happy with that team. That team turned out so well. Like, I've been working on so much stuff, and it felt good to just decide, okay, let's see what we can do without Roger shenanigans. And yeah, once I got that initial day of Gear 5 hybrid with Kaido sub, it just fell into places pretty smoothly. But of course there were a lot of kinks to figure out. Like, I was so shocked to have General Frankie being actually viable on that team, and imagine my surprise when someone in my Discord points out, oh look here, Snowman also did a team with hybrid Gear 5 Luffy, and he also used General Frankie. So I'm like, what? Because I know Snowman will be doing any bug stall or such. I was like, what's he using Frankie for? But that team was also really cool. I linked it in my video. So he had two cool Gear 5 hybrid teams at the same time. But okay, let's focus on team building. Let's start with the starting team. What team do I bring to my first run in the Blitz? And, well, there's not much to choose from, right? It's going to be the batch. I can't see them not being the batch, basically. So let's just pick all of them, and then we can talk about them. Let's just put everything quick right now. There's actually so much to think about with this, so I'm not sure exactly how to approach it. But I've been thinking a bit in my spare time as well of how to approach. And Tuki. One thing I know is that for now Toki is going to be bottom left, because if there is some auto battle happening, then you don't want to hit with Toki early, since she can buff the enemies, so hitting last with her is sensible. Other than that, like, the question is, who is captain, who is friend captain? It should probably be a hybrid optimally, but what hybrid is the question. Forest says, my full batch team idea plans around Yama, friend captain, Yama sub, Roden cap to wave clear. Yeah, I have a lot of ideas with Roden, but yeah, the real question is, who do we pick twice? Because one legend we can run 2 off, so who is that? And there is honestly cases for a lot of these legends. But like Forrest said, he's planning to run maybe 2 Yama. I don't think that's happening for me personally. I think Yamato is the least valuable unit here. Yamato is basically just damage. Potentially we might need super swap for CD reduction, but we also have Kinemon for CD reduction. So unless they spam CD reduction, there's no way for them to force the Yamato. And like, if they try to force the Yamato, the goal will be, how do we not force the Yamato? Because we don't want to swap like that. That sucks, basically. Obviously, they can make something like you need to use Yamato stage 4, then you use a lot of specials to get Yamato back, and maybe the swap charged. But that also sounds really slow, so not sure what I think about that either. Like, the goal will be basically to... My process when the build starts is, first, find a team that works, get the farm going, and while farming, the only focus is, how do we improve this? And then make it better and better and faster and faster. And the goal for me basically is to just try and abuse my advantage as most as possible. And my advantage is, well, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Few people will have as much stats on their legends and as strong super tandem or rush or everything. So I can definitely see that being a key thing to me getting the W here. One thing to remember for me with the super tandem is that I need 2 specific units only. So I don't need to force... I can run Roger, Odin, Friend Captain, for example, and I can proc the super tandem a lot faster. So I think that my main goal will be to see, can I abuse that the swap? And another thing to note here is, will they try and force the Zoro Sanji super swap, which is a bit more realistic than Yamato. But one thing we could do if they try and force it is that we can run double Zoro Sanji. I'd put them like this then, with the other as friend captain. And that way we can guarantee that we have either of the specials, so we can always swap one of them and get the special. Could be possible that there's color changes. Like, one of the issues with blitzes is that there's always stage variations and such. Let me read some comments. Ayub Aisawi says, we already know Blitz guide. No, we do not. Eric Hefke asks, since you're going hard, will you make teams and videos? Yeah, that's the problem with going hard. I can't make more teams than the one I'm using. So for this Blitz, you will have to rely on other people for the teams. Sorry about that. Like, from a personal perspective, like, it will be a smarter decision for me to just chill and make content. And those content will probably get pretty good views. So for me, this is purely from an egotistical standpoint of me wanting to prove myself, wanting to rank. Because after this, there's not going to be any Blitz rankings for me for a long time. Cody says, we follow you for a few years now. I just want to say congrats on the success of your YouTube channel. Yeah, thanks a lot. It's going really well. You're also in Pig Squad. I not heard a lot there. Not a lot of the OGs are still there, sadly. But it's cool that it's still going on. I'm happy for that. So what do I think for the starting team? Well, I do know that I want to use Roger, Odin, and V2 Yamato hybrid for the first run. And since I've already said, I don't think Yamato has that much value to me personally. I think the logical thing is that we run Roger Odin friend captain, Yamato captain, Roger Odin also as a sub. And then we can have Sorosanji as well. So I think something like this is pretty reasonable. The question is, like, do we have any supports or such in the beginning? There's a lot of supports to keep in mind. Like, Sora and Sandy, of course, have a ton of good supports that could potentially see play. Let's see. Like, Yerma could always see some use, getting a free full board of tandem orbs. Like, imagine if they swap your orbs stage 1, this support will be gone like that. Since you might be able to set up some free super swap charges if you do a few turns of auto battle. That could be a huge deal potentially. Nami to help with paralysis. There's two I've been thinking about personally. Sora is one of them. Because with Sora, you're guaranteed to get a block orb for final stage, which is where I imagine you mostly want to use the Super Tandem, the later stages. And this also can be used to try and circumvent, like, Roger and Odin special. Let's say you use Roger Odin EX, the next to final stage, but don't use their special. Then final stage, you can get a tandem orb on Sorosanji. You can use Roger's special, and it won't change the tandem orb, so you keep it. So that's the sort of things that could be useful with Sora. Just worth keeping in mind when team building. Another one that might be really good is Mystoms. To have some special reverse resistance. That could be really nice. Those are the main ones I'm keeping in mind, but there's so many. We have attack down and everything. But usually we shouldn't get buffs that aren't part of the batch. So one buff to keep good attention to, because we've already talked about how important the C reduction of Kinemon probably will be, since we don't want to get Yamato into duo form. That means we might need to use support to remove paralysis for one stage, and then use Kinemon another stage, if that makes sense. So for Yamato we only have Nami, Sorosanji, Chopper at least, maybe Tama, but that's only when you use the special, so that's 2 turns. Roger Odin has 2 options, really good, so that's 4 turns. Kinemon then has Raizo, we could potentially combine a bit with Roger Odin. So we can potentially remove 6 turns with support viably. So we do have potential options. Vanita says I didn't play for like 2 or 3 years. How are the splits better than normal with a new account now? Like, it depends. Like, it might be easy if you're a new account that pulled most stuff, then you shouldn't struggle. But if you don't have a lot of the new stuff and have a new account, that might be really hard as well. Israel Reyes says, is Sunny Sora required for the time? Nothing is required, but it's hard to say yet how good all of these units will be. We just know that this will most likely be the optimal team in some capacity. We just don't know exactly what. Bobby says, wish they just released the stage info prior. I'm so sad they can't data mine the stage info for this. It's one of the greatest sadness. Forest says, I'm expecting chain attack down debuff somewhere along the line, to be honest. Very possible. Chain attack down will be pretty annoying, since that basically forces you to use a Sorosani special. But then if they want you to use their special on another stage as well, then we're starting to force super swaps. One thing to keep in mind as well, though, is the fact that, let's say there is death up or threshold, like in Pyro King Adventures. It's important to keep in mind if the enemy has full immunity. It probably will, but you should always keep in mind, because otherwise we obviously have the Nami support that sets defense to 0. So then you can just swap into the one that removes threshold, which I guess is Zoro, right? And then Zoro plus Nami will remove everything without having to be in the super swap form. Can also be put on Kinemon, which might actually be legit if there is some stage earlier where they want you to use Kinemon and Zoro Sanji, potentially. So I think this will be my starting team. The only question is, do I give any support? And as for ship, it should probably be Shark Superb. I will start with Shark Superb. Maybe swap to Kuro ship later. It's pretty good. It will have higher damage final stage, higher HP as well, most likely. But or it will have higher HP. But we start with Shark Superb, I guess. Do I want to start with any support? Like, it feels overkill to have 6 paralysis supports in the beginning. Like, somehow you want to try and both find potentials to get faster, but you also don't want to fail the run. You want to try and play somewhat intended at first, just to get going and learning the variations, what they do, get a feel for the damage. Like, Blitz is a process in the beginning. Like, Blitz, like Treasure Map and stuff like that, they're always the most fun in the beginning when you try and optimize, find how it works. Then when you solved it, you're basically good. Treasure Map at least has the aspect of everything getting harder and harder and harder, and you have to keep in mind that and build out of that and keep your damage numbers in check and stuff like that. Blitz, though, is completely brain dead. Nothing changes from the first round to the 1000th round, whatever it is. Hello there, Giannis. Welcome. I still like how professional the stream looks like now, with you can actually see the chat and such. And I know personally, like, if I try and watch a WOD and there's no chat I can see, like, it feels a lot more boring to me. So I'm glad I took the time to add some kind of solution. I would like to remove the heart, though. No idea if you can do that on YouTube. I'll take a look at that later. But yeah, very hard to decide if I should put any support. I think we put Yerma, just because it's really good info to see. Where does Yerma proc? And it's pretty fast to see, like, will it be helpful or not? And then we know that for the future. As for the others, should probably put Nami here. We probably have some paralysis. Other than that, I think it's okay. I think we'll begin with that. But we should try and prepare some other variations as well. So now we're getting to the brainstorming part. Like, what do we think can happen? Because this first variation is built around Bind and the Spear. But obviously, if we don't have Bind or the Spear, that might not be as important. Like, we might have a very annoying Fear somehow. Not really sure how they make fear a thing with this batch, but it could happen. But yeah, one thing we should probably do is we should have some Sorosani friend captain teams. One variation with Yamato and one with Roger Oden. The question is if they should look any different than the other variations. Yeah, you're happy to join us, Spidey. Welcome. Vanitas, you should be fine then. You'll probably want to use Sorosani as friend captain, but we will wait to see. Sadly, won't be making any team that will help you. I'm only going to make the optimal team for me this time around. That's what happens when I try to maximize my ranking potential. But yeah, so this is Yamato and Roger Oden hybrid. Then if we copy the team, oh yeah, I'm full. I need to delete some stuff. Oh yeah, this is my berry farm team. I have to keep that. It's just that I de-evolved my Komurasaki. Old treasure map team. I hate that it goes out to the top. Add that to my big list of pet peeves with this game. Or why don't I just start from the top? That's a good question. This Shinobu team will be in a video eventually. It's in my backlog. I'm sure you recognize that Zoro team. Lots of Grand Voyage Smoker here. The Wapol teams. Probably treasure map. Keeping the buggy. Removing that. Yeah, these are treasure map teams. Okay, there we go. Clean up. Now you can save this. Hello there, Tube Cry. Welcome. Spidey didn't pull Kinemon. That's a bit feels bad, man. Kinemon will probably be very good. Like, the main workaround to not having Kinemon is to use Yamato's Super Swap, which is painful. But yeah, good luck with that. Toki will probably also be important on some stage. They will probably force her early, like in Pyro King Adventures, like stage 3 or 4. Yeah, Toki is going to suck to not own. Like, they will most likely do like in Pyro King Adventures, just slap her debuffs on some stage. They might put in like a stage 4 with 2 variations. One variation has special bind, one has bind. You're supposed to use Toki. Something like that I can see happening. But yeah, the first 2 look identical. Let's just put them in there and move around. This is the Roger Oden with Sorosanji friend captain. So these are the main variations, I guess, that can happen. It could also be that there's like double Roger Oden. That's also pretty feasible if there's only bind. Amer-sama says maybe we can use the Law Robin Recruit to replace her. I know they are good, but I don't remember that they did the exact same thing. There's a special bind at least, that's good. Just need some support to remove bind. And there are some good ones, of course. Kinemon has Kanjuro to remove bind. Law himself in that case has a bind removing support. But of course with bind we also have the fact that captains remove bind. So yeah, if you run a Yamato captain you don't have to care about the bind. And if you run Roger Odin and V2 Yamato you ignore bind and the spear, which is nice. Man from Birth says, hey Chauzu, I saw the video from Nitro Station Morgan level 5. Since I'm not veteran, that team is ideal. But is there any replacement for the Mr. Tree support? The main replacement for Mr. Tree support is Brooke Captain and Dying. You can swap up to Law to take the hits. I think there's another captain you can use to remove the bind. To have a bit more HP. But I'm not really up to date with Morgan. I know that the team subconsciously posted for Morgan a few days ago. It didn't need Mr. Tree, I think at least. So you can check that out. There are teams out there at least. I don't know if I made any. I probably have made at least one. But it's a bit outdated surely. There's a lot easier teams now, I presume. Okay. I guess we put this one here for double Roger Odin. And I don't know, it feels a bit weird to put support, but maybe I should put variations with like all paralysis removal. That will probably be a likely thing to happen. See if we need to remove paralysis. Probably Kiku ISO. There are other options, of course. Chopper. Raizo. Raizo might not work since there's likely we're getting special bind as well. But I do have the level 1 Raizo we could maybe use. Chopper is level 4, but he doesn't remove more at level 5, by the way. It's just more HP heal. We could also do it like this. We have Kawamatsu on Roger. Kiko Aisu here. It's a shame that there's 4 supports. It's like 1 too many, but there's like no way around that. No paralysis removing Sailor either. But either that or Raizo, it's hard to say which is best. It depends on the situation. So I can just swap if needed. Honestly, we can just copy this and make one more variant. Where we have the opposite support. Some of you watching might wonder, what's the big thing here? Why are you putting paralysis support? You can just use Kinemon, remove the paralysis. But here's my logic. Let's say stage 5. There's paralysis. Okay, you use Kinemon. Then you get to stage 6. This is 6 stages. And oh, there's 2 turns special reverse. What do I do? Do I want to use Yamato's super swap to get into the EX super to reduce CD by 2? I really don't want to do that. Then I use Kinemon. I use Kinemon to reduce CD. But what about the paralysis then? Well, that's the support. Let me see some posts here. I've been a bit lazy. I can even be high-tech like this and move it up a bit. No, I can't. It doesn't want me to. Can I not really? That's super dumb. Oh, I can. Okay. High-tech. Let me see what I missed. Usebox says, I hope the Blitz doesn't have too much revive or damage limiter mechanics. Move up so we can see it in the box. Wait, is it not showing? I can just be better at answering questions as well. There we go. Okay. Too stylish for you. Don't have Yamato and Sanji Zoro. You'll probably be able to make a team. Sadly not from me, but I'm sure some makes it. Felix Hoffman says, hi, is the Shark Superb the best ship for farming the event tomorrow? Maybe. Is it worth getting for 30 games? It probably is. Like, I wouldn't say it's a top priority, but it is the highest damage ship for 3 colors in general, so it does see a lot of use frequently. It's a safe ship to get, but you'll be able to beat the content without it. That's very likely. Animal Stage don't like Yamato, then you know that you're going to look for a team with Yamato friend captain probably. Yeah, Law Robin was great for the PKA. Amber Sama says, probably rhetorical, but I have a worry. Are we supposed to farm 3 times stamina or 1 times, or does it not matter in ranking? In Blitz, you can only farm 1 times, so you don't have to worry about that. Or usually it's 1 times. Sometimes they let you do 3 times. Or maybe I'm mixing up modes. Maybe it's usually 3 times in Blitz, but yeah, you get 3 times the points if you can do 3 times. So yeah. Bobby asked a question, but I actually answered that question before, so yeah, hope that was satisfying. But yeah, you guys don't have to worry. There will be teams that you can beat without having everything. People will be making good teams, but the only difference is that this time I'm not going to add anyone to the pile. You'll have to rely on the other many good content creators. So since I'm going to be streaming a lot during the Blitz, I am going to encourage people to post teams here. I can probably look around YouTube as well. I have subscribed to most of the best JP team builders as well, so it's always interesting to see what they do. I would also want to watch teams from others just to get inspirations for my own team. So, Accordon says, are the gamings out for the Blitz? Nope. I'm just preparing potential teams that might be good. So for example, this team, I know that, okay, I want to remove paralysis with support. I got a team that does that. So I don't have to spend a minute adding the support. That's basically the logic. Probably should try and make these a bit more unique. Let's make a team with Sora. I think Sora is going to be a viable option. Oops. Imagine if we had a unit for Zoro Sanji where they could get a recovery 1 or 10 or more pretty early. They will be infinitely better with that. I actually don't mind that they have that because it makes them a bit more skillful to use, but it would be a lot easier to get the super swap if you could get that orb guaranteed early from a support. Amazon says, will you be returning to older Grand Voyage showcases like Kuro level 5? It's funny you mention Kuro because it's the only Grand Voyage I don't have any interest in doing. It feels so completed. I even made a team for Grand Voyage Kuro that only used 5 units. So you can pick any 6th unit you want. That was very fun. I will of course return to it someday, but we need to get some interesting units first, and we haven't got any Dex shooters. I actually made a new team for Grand Voyage Luffy 2 today, which is the Arlong one in Arlong Park. And it was pretty cool. Used Arlong Captain together with the new Super Sugo Kaido as hybrids. And it has 1 orbs the entire runs. That's going to be a good team. I think I don't remember when I scheduled that team. But it's going to go up sometime. Maybe next week sometimes. Oh, Forest with a very good suggestion. We're going to add that to a team. Let's add it to this one. Actually, I've missed that. That's actually goated. That might be super clutch if we actually need the super swap. Because then we try... Basically, if if you watch the vid I made about how to get the super swap easier, as long as you can guarantee that Zoro Sanji has a recovery tandem or Wano Orb as sub, you can do that phantom hit when you kill the enemy, and the super swap gauge will go up, and that speeds it up a lot, so you can actually reduce a few swaps with that. So that could be a big deal. One thing I've been thinking about personally, keeping in mind for myself, is that let's say I want to we can wave clear with Roger Oden. My goal is to be able to do that. But if I wave clear with Roger Oden, can't I just use the EX first, stage 1, wave clear with Roger Oden, give Zoro Sanji a Wano Orb, and then try and abuse it? It might be that stage 2 has Zoro Sanji as... it might have like 4 mobs. That means if I auto battle with Zoro Sanji in this position, they will phantom hit, final hit, so they keep the Wano Orb, but the super swap goes up. Stuff like that is going to be very good to keep in mind, because we want to swap as little as possible. Optimally, we don't need the super swap, but it might be needed, and then the question is, how do we get it as good and reliably as possible? Tozy says, if Bandai forced the super swaps for both the duels, it's going to be one of the worst splits ever. For sure. I can't imagine them forcing the Yamato super swap. That seems like the efforts they have to do to force this is going to be so extreme. I just don't see it happening. But if it happens, the goal will be to like use Yamato special to against like stage 4 probably. And then probably use a few specials on the stage 5 or on stage 4 as well. Get Yamato back. Maybe do a few swaps before then. But I would be shocked if we actually need to do that super swap. I would be very sad if we have to swap a lot in the one blitz I decide to play a lot. I will say that much. I will spend as much energy as I can to use as few specials as possible, to use as few swaps as possible, and to tap as little as possible. That's my goal in like every blitz, but especially this one. Forrest says, oh, yo Toad, congratulations for your marriage. Oh, that's cool to hear, Toad, congrats. I don't keep up with anything, so this is the first time I hear about it, but that's super great to hear. Big congratulations. And yeah, thanks for the good luck, Toad. I'm imagining you will take it a bit easier, but you usually rank pretty good in everything, so that's cool. I'm sure you will also be streaming a bit. But yeah, as I've said before, Blitz is not a mode I enjoy much personally. So when I rarely go hard in Blitz. I went hard once last year when I was in Passione, and they kind of begged me to do it because I had like full batch and they wanted to get that first. And yeah, we did get that, so that was cool, but I was not close to top of the team. So I like to be close to top of TRA. I've been hopping TRA alliances a lot. Right now I'm in the first team. So I haven't been there for a while. I've been in TRA 4, which is mostly like Indonesian players, but they are actually super chill, so I've enjoyed being there. And I prefer it being like this, that if I want to go hard, they let me join the other hardcore guys, and if I don't feel like going hard, I can just not chill, but not play as hard in another alliance. So I like that setup. Most other in TRA don't like move a lot, so I'm like one of the few people moving around. Felix Hoffman says, I just hope entire batch will deal with strongest Blitz standard version. I don't have that many good supports. I wouldn't worry, they don't really force a support for most content. Like if you have the batch is enough. The only content where they require specific support on that in general is the Grand Voyages at higher levels. And of course, if you try and not use the Blitz, well, not use the intended team by Bandai, of course, you're up to having to figure out something out by yourself. But if you have the full batch, that should definitely be enough. Amar Sama says, we need a summon collab from you guys for half Annie at least. Well, I'm open to suggestions. I don't know. I don't think I'm the hype guy among the content creators. So I feel like I drag it down more than anything. But I'm open to anything. But I also like to live in my bubble. So I'm the kind of guy who, if people ask me stuff, I don't see myself saying no to a lot of things. But I'm not the one to reach out either, which is probably bad. But that's just my personality as well. I like to just go on with life without too much happening. Me doing my own thing at my own pace when I feel like it, stuff like that. If we focus on this, what more could we want to cover with support? Oh yeah, I just wanted to show this. Well, I didn't want to show this, but we saw it, so I just tried a bit with Brooke against PKA myself. This was before the Gear 5 team I uploaded. Let me just say it went horribly. I'm not saying, like, I could have made it work, but I gave up after a while. It was not worth it. Let's load the other crew. So what else could be needed? It's hard to see double Zoro Sanji being needed. That's just ludicrous. So we basically got the comms down. The question is there any unit we could potentially replace? Obviously losing points is bad, but I haven't looked at the list at all. 1.55 times, yeah, that's quite a bit. They added Ace as 1.25 times. It would have been nice if they added Ace as 1.55 times at least, but it is what it is. Would have been fun if there was some potential to do a bit more team building. But yeah, don't really see any of them getting use. If Ace worked correctly, he could have been cool to get a lot of extra damage, but I don't trust using Ace in general right now. His special is so funky. Toski says, how do you feel about Sora and Sunny or Yamato in Rumble? I just tried out Sora and Sunny and they were a little better than I was expecting, honestly. Honestly, Sora Sunny feels like Shanks' crew, but instead of HP cut, you get the haste, which sometimes is really good and sometimes feels completely useless. So honestly, I don't know. I've honestly dropped slashers quite a bit. I don't use them that much anymore. As for Yamato, I don't see Yamato being viable at all. That unit looks awful in every single way in PvP. I don't even... Like, it's a bit of the Luffy crew problem, right? But Luffy crew at least had a great special. Like, buffing a lot of colors when you're on duo unit just sucks because you don't get those buffs yourself. And it doesn't help that the special on Yamato is also awful. So yeah, I won't recommend anyone to use Yamato. But I will say again, the quick slasher team, it's so good. I recorded for 1 hour just using quick slasher versus strength. This video will go up during the Blitz. And I legit only lost once in an hour against all kinds of strength teams. And we're talking super annoying strength teams with like Kobe, Luffy, stuff like that. Like complete awful. But yeah. Basically, the only way you lose is if you get some super bad luck. So, Smoothie somehow goes after, like, Nami Karina, and you get the Nami Karina shenanigans, and you're unable to stop Luffy, and once Luffy uses his special, well, you're dead. But in basically all my times using this, like, only once did I eat a Luffy special and died, and that's quite the consistency, so very interesting. Like, I'm just amazed by Roger Odin in PvP because usually new units buff the stuff that's good, but Roger Oden literally created a new team archetype in Quick Slasher, which didn't exist before. Like, but somehow it just works really well. It's really weird. Yeah, if I get Quick Momo, he's really cool. I'm just not sure who I'd remove. I feel like Cracker is super good, just to speed the team up. The team has a lot of CT going with Roger Oden, Cracker, Shiryu. It feels really good. You get Smoothie early. Smoothie just shuts down all of the annoying units on the opponent's team. So that basically means by process of elimination, we remove Tesoro. But it might be worth, I'm not sure. Felix, Shark Superb is the only ship that is max level when you buy it. Fun fact, it's only like that on Global. On JP, you have to invest Cola in the Shark Superb. This has made people think, what about ship buffs with Shark Superb? I have no idea. It's just a bizarre decision overall that they made them different on the two versions, and that might need to get fixed eventually when it gets buffs. But yeah, take your free maxed ship. But yeah, I'm basically in love with this team, and I don't say that often about PvP since I don't like it, but it just fascinates me that suddenly we have a new team to play and it's really good, and I see no reason anymore to use the old Quick teams. No idea what that strength bench is for. Like, that's just an example of me overthinking stuff. I probably tried to counter a specific team that had like strength front line and dex back line, but I know for sure it didn't work well. But yeah, honestly, I'm not sure what more I need to prepare for. We can take a look at what supports different units has, I guess. See if we missed anything. Let's start with Toki. Does Toki have any support? I don't see Hiro getting any use. The only use Hiro could get, by the way, should put this on one team at least. Hiyori can be good for Roger Oden. If you have, like, it could be some scenario where you can't guarantee orbs and you want the full Roger Oden special, then you can get it with the Hiyori support. It's very niche though. Don't see that being a thing, but we can put it there for now. What more do we have? Uta will definitely not see support. Chopper, maybe if we need healing, but that's also kind of specific. Nothing we can prepare for. But yeah, predictably not much. Oh yeah, we do have this though. If we go up a bit. Yeah, we can actually use this. Not if Yamato is captain, but otherwise we can make use of it. But the question is, does it matter? And it doesn't really matter. Most likely. So yeah, nothing exciting for Toki that I can see. Let me see some chat messages. Babe says, carry me in GP this season with Roden Burst. Bro, Roger Oden Burst is completely insane. Like, I'm not one to keep track of PvP stuff, but like, I read Roger Oden Burst, I think that sounds pretty good. I'm too lazy to compare with Gear 5 Luffy because I'm kind of in the mindset that I'm never going to use anything but Gear 5 Luffy. But then you start using it, and it's like the opponent just dies. It's absolutely surreal to use Roger and Oden Burst. And it feels so good to use the Quick Slasher team in Grand Party because they just spam specials like crazy. So you get that burst really early. And then Quick Slasher is just really good, at least this season. So you just win without the burst anyway. But yeah. Ambersama says, watch them first as a stage to use the right side for Sanji, Zoro, Roger, Oden, and Yama. Not sure what you mean by right side. But like having all of them to the right? Maybe. As said, with Zoro-san, you most likely want them in one of these. Mainly because in this position, as friend captain, we can guarantee both Zoro Sanji a tandem orb, which of course helps with super tandem, and it helps with the super swap if we need that. And this swap spot is like if we have auto battle, then this is the spot where we can try and not hit with Zoro Sanji. Like if they have a recovery orb. Sorry about that. Like if they have a recovery tandem or one orb, we can try so they don't consume it if we auto some stage. Random question, who's your favorite Straw Hat? Vivi, for sure. If you don't count Vivi, not sure why you won't count her, but if you don't count her, honestly it's super hard. I think about this from time to time, but I honestly don't have a favorite. I only have a most disliked one, and that's Sanji, mainly in the manga and anime, because I can't keep up with that, how he treats women. Like, I understand it's a gag and it's funny in Japan, but as a more modern Swede, like, I can't stand that. Like, Sanji in the live action was amazing, but I can't stand those gags in the manga and anime. I do like everything else about Sanji though, but just that thing I can't stand. Okay, let's continue looking at support. Kinemon does have quite a few. Yeah, the Kiko Iso, but that's useless with the Nami, of course. We talked about Riser already. We might even have a reason to use the level 1 one if we want to avoid the paralysis. Or special bind, I mean. These supports won't be possible since Kinemon doesn't do attack or boost. Kanjuro is nice, but we have captains that resist both buffs, so I don't see this being needed. Can't wait for Emu voice reveal this Saturday in the anime. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm pretty curious as well. I don't really watch the anime, so I don't really keep up. What I watch usually is the Crunchyroll highlights when they appear. But I can't really stand watching the anime in general. I only watch a few episodes per year. We already talked about Kiko Iso, can also be on Roger and Oda. Bobbin is a clutch support that is easy to forget, but guarantee matching orbs. It's always nice, but I doubt there will be attack down in this content. We can't rule it out, but I don't see it happening. What does this do again? It's just base stats, but 7% damage reduction, that's crazy. Is that the highest we've got? I can't remember anything higher than 5. I feel like we got something with 6, but 7% is super high, wow. Shame that it's only for a few units, but that's super cool actually. Zoro is very cool, but you need to do a damaging special. And of course we have a swap to get tandem anyway, so. Momo is just Shane. This is a bind removal. But we do get end of turn damage, but again, I don't see us getting that. Albert Ramon says Happy New Year. Appreciate all the videos. Thanks, bro. Appreciate the support as well, you being a subscriber. Let me post some of my emotes. I have a lot of them now. The 3 recent ones I added was Nami Cry. We have the Ohm Think and Rogue LOL. So I got some nice ones. Speaking of Rogue, my bro Nitro Sage, he's been cooking a new team for Grand Voyage Krieg that might be able to use Rogue as friend captain instead of Sanji. So I think that next week, probably Tuesday, we're going to try that team and get a clear width for Nitro Sage so he can upload it. Nitro does such a good job making new Grand Voyage teams. Yeah, basically it's safest to assume that anything this batch can't cover won't happen. That's the safe assumption. If something weird happens, we have to take it from there. We can't prepare for Bandai being weird. But weird stuff has happened. For example, we have that infamous New Year or anniversary when we got, let's just grab the units here. We had V2 Snake Man, we had Sabo, we had Blackbeard, we had Katakuri, we had the Annie units, it was Chopper, it's a string Chopper, there we go, Chopper, it was Nami, and then we had some rare recruits, it was Boa, and it was Law. I don't remember if the villains had any rare recruits. I don't think so, at least. And of course, making batches with these are hard. It's basically 2 different ones. But what Bandai managed to do was force Boa in Treasure Map for one of the main bosses. This is basically the only time I can remember them doing something like that, because like sure Boa was batch, but they usually don't force the batch rare recruits from main boss, but they did it that time, and that really, well, I shouldn't say it tanked the points, but we had such insane multipliers that treasure map. It was the treasure map I won, by the way. Yes, the 127 times treasure map boost. It was my first ever treasure map win, and I probably have the highest score ever. Honestly, it might be broken now since we can get to like nav level 1000 now, so that the points do stack in the end. But yeah, that's a classic treasure map. It was me against that Italian content creator that has quit now. I'm so bad with names. But yeah, he was in the lead, but then he fell asleep so I could clutch it. So that was pretty hype. So I won treasure map twice. That was the first time. And the second time was against Among Us when I had full boost. And he had barely any boost, but he had some boost, but not a lot. But he played a lot more than me, but my boost just won out in the end. Most people did assume that I would lose that though, so it did feel pretty good to get that W. And I want to win a third treasure map sometime, but it's just hard to find that opportunity, and it's not really a top priority either. I'd have to feel like it, and I haven't felt like grinding that hard in treasure map since I won my second one. Like the main thing with that second one is that I was like an old guard at that point, and basically nobody thought I could do it in a more modern treasure map. So like, even if I would have lost, like, if Among had high boost, like, it's fair, like, I did play almost 500 nav levels, so, yeah, felt good. Yep, I won treasure map twice, man, 33. Not that many who have done it, so, feels good. And I'd love to be one of the few to do it 3 times, but as said, if the opportunity happens, I'll try, but it's not in my plans for the coming months. Like, if I do it sometime, it will be during summer, when I don't have any obligations. Like, I will try and go hard for War Cruise for sure. And since I don't work on Fridays right now, I can go even harder than I could last year in Treasure Map. But I still, like, even working Wednesday, Thursday, you're not going to get that great rank while you have real life. Man says, I wasn't to quit after every TM and I only do 100 rounds. Well, the main thing I can say is that In the beginning, just focus on treasure map when it's fun and fresh and you learn all of the bosses and get your teams done. But once the teams are set, you have to spend as little time thinking about treasure map as possible. That's going to be my strat for the Blitz 2. Like in the beginning, sure, full focus until we have a team. When we have the team, full focus on getting muscle memory. But once I feel good about the team, I want to think about it as little as possible. So there's a hard balance there, because if you think too little, it's easy to make dumb mistakes. But if you think too much, you burn out and you can't do it. So recently I've become pretty good at that, but I feel like my speed has slowed down. So a big focus for me tomorrow, at least when I have my final teams, is to try and really optimize that speed. So we'll see how that goes for sure. Back to looking at support, I guess. Felix says, I barely get to like 30-40 runs because of work, working 5 days a week, 8-hour shift. I always feel like I can't farm enough. But at the end of the day, it's just a game, I guess. Yeah, like doing 30-40 runs, that's definitely fine. You just have to manage reality after that. That means you can't limit break expand, everything, stuff like that. But it's not something you have to do, so yeah. It is what it is, basically. Who do we look at now? Can look at Roger Odin again, I guess. We have ISO, but I don't think ISO will be relevant. We have an end of turn support, but I also don't think there will be any resilience. Momo can be attacked down final stage, but again, don't think that's happening. A bit extra chain, but the extra chain is so small that it's not worth running a support for it. It's a nice bonus in Super Boss though, for sure. We already talked about Kiko ISO, definitely a good option. Cat and Dog is nice. It's actually really cool because this means that Odin has support to remove all 3 different defensive effects. That's actually a super cool niche. I don't think any other unit has that. And then in that we include like all of the straw hats and everything, so that's super cool. Man asks, how long have you been playing? Since a bit after Gam Valley, which was during the Stampede debut, so it's like almost 3 years ago. In a few weeks it will be 3 years, I think. Maybe a few days, I can't remember. Felix says, yeah, my goal is always at least max a new TM unit, get the skulls from keys and etc. Bare minimum, I guess. Yeah, like bare minimum is not bad. For others, bare minimum is a lot lower than that. It might be just getting a few points and such. So, like if you do 30-40 rounds, you're more passionate about this game than like 95% of people. So, nothing to feel bad about. Crocus is an action option to get the damage reduction attack boost on Yamato, but of course that's only if we get Yamato into dual form, which we won't. We want to avoid that, and I can't see Yamato final tap ever coming in play. Only time I've ever used final tap in a blitz was for the Roger Whitebeard New Year Blitz, because I'm pretty sure they had like tap limit, so you can only tap a few times. So then final tap was pretty realistic because it was like just 3 taps or anything. So sure, 3 taps, that's pretty fast. But doing 6 taps, that's completely out of the question for me. And of course for final tap here you have to be, well, I guess you don't have to be in duo form, so it could be a thing, I guess. The EX just helps you get that damage reduction, but you could get it from Ray Liga 1 as well. And for Mystems that we looked at before. As for Yamato, I used this support in the PKA today, by the way. Super clutch support. I wish we got more supports like this. These supports are so good. But look at the filter, slot, swap slots. We only have 3. I have dupe Brooke, but This is because I wanted a level 1 in case I just want to swap one orb, which is faster, which is the reason I have it. But yeah, I wish we had more. Like, this guy is completely useless since he just boosts bad units, basically. Like, you're not using them. And this one can be put on quite a few, so that's also cool. So I wish we had more support like this that lets you change slots. That's always clutch. One of those says, I want to at least clear it 100 times. Does Blitz cost stamina? It does. So Blitz is super unfriendly to new players since it just eats up your stamina. They want you to force to use meat. But for newcomers, using meat is not that good since the value is super low. Optimally, you get a lot higher level before you start using the meat. Like, imagine getting to like level 600. That means you get 600 meats along the way. And each meat is a lot more valuable at level 600 than at level 10, 50, 100, 200. So, my advice for you, Anitas, is to... You should definitely try and get all of the Shopperman rewards. But I wouldn't try to go for any ranked rewards or such. It's not worth it to kill all of your meat stockpile for that. That's my opinion, but you decide yourself, of course. Bobby says, isn't there a support for Frankie that lets you? Well, this includes all of those supports, so nope. I think you're thinking about... let me see. Oh. Yeah. I had removed int. You are right. You're totally right. Iceberg as well, of course. Also clutch. I use Iceberg quite a bit. Back to Yamato. Momo, but again, and we can't even use it because Yamato doesn't do attack boost, but don't think we will have any resilience. Here we have another super overrated support. Super niche condition to remove, 1 turn of bind, can only be put on 4 units, and people love it because they like having the extra resistance, but that resistance is basically nothing. So yeah, this queen is definitely overrated. Like, compare that to a unit like Barto. That man is I overrate, but he also adds that resistance. So it's like he also does what Queen does, not for all types, but still 3 relevant colors. So yeah, I just think that's a bit weird to me. Well, it's the advice I give to anyone with low player level. Like, if you have a higher player level because you don't have a new account, then sure, go for it. But if you're like below level 300, 400, like, it's not worth spamming meats to farm Blitz. It's very bad value outside of the Shopperman reward. Okay. And as said, Sorasani has so many supports. We did look at the most important ones. I'm skipping a few like this. For example, it's nice to get a guaranteed chain lock, but I don't see us getting any decreased chain. This radio is also pretty fun. Can remove lock chain multiplier, but as I said, don't think that's happening. Frankie can be used to get some extra attack boost, but not needed for Sorrow. Doubt we'll need some matching orbs either. But yeah, how much does he let you resist? Just 3%, but the thing is that it's all colors, so that's pretty good. That's also pretty unique. We already talked about Sora, going to be really good. Mihawk could come into play if there's some stage where they want you to use Yamato a second time. They might want you to start using damage reduction stuff. So let's take a look at that actually. That's a good thing to keep in mind. Let's add another one. Let's take this one. Okay, let's add damage reduction stuff. Can we remove a lot of damage reduction without using Yamato special? We have Mihawk here. Oops. Let's just take one at a time. Not looking that great. There's a few with damage reduction with tap timing though. ISO for example, but I don't think there's any more for these. Sorosani has this one, but Mihawk is better. Okay, so we can only remove 4 turns. Worth keeping in mind, but I honestly don't think that will happen. Let's keep a blank slate team as well, with no support. Well, we got a few options now. Let's rehash them. This is like the beginning team. I think I'll remove Nami from this. But I want to keep the Yerma crew just to see if and when they proc, so I keep that in mind for the future. So I'll start with this and then we'll see. Here I made a team with Rogue support. And Rogue could be really nice because we get a guaranteed recovery orb stage 3. So we can try and get super swap earlier if needed. We have a team with Sora as well if we want to get the 10 more final stage after having used Roger Odin and already used Sora Sanya, I guess. It's also pretty specific to use Sora, but it could happen. Then we have some paralysis removing teams that remove 6 turns of paralysis, which is what Kinemon will remove. We also have one with a bit of a swapped support, depending on what is best. Then we have a team I didn't touch. And then we had one with some damage reduction removal. I don't have any more ideas to be honest, but we have some starting points. I will start with team 1 and we take it from there. Maybe for team 1 I should add some stat supports at least. Let's sort by attack. This one should be better than Stampede Luffy. Can the bullet there. I guess. Sure. And we'll keep that for now. Okay. I think we'll do it like this. I'm going to be ending stream soon to get some rest for the big farm. But before ending, let's do 3 PvP battles and I'll take some final questions and we can chill a bit. Increase my rank a bit since I won't be playing much at all the coming days. I don't want to play that team. I hate Sorrow defense. Low points. That looks pretty free. Roger without any quick units. I'll just beat you with my own Roger. Forrest says I prepare one with V2 Bonnie support on Sora Sanji. I don't see Chainlock being useful. I don't remember if Bonnie does anything else. Does she give a recovery orb as well? Then yes, that's pretty good. So I definitely add that in that case. Felix says a special mission. Is there a way to farm these Usohachi Namis and Goran Frankie units? Would like to just get the rewards and complete it. Don't you get the units from there? Or do you have to buy them? It's very dumb that they keep the content if you can't get the units, but okay. I haven't revisited that content since it released, basically, so I sadly can't help you and have to look into it myself. Oh, you couldn't find the event? Ah, Amrasama helped you then. But yeah, I hope you guys have checked out the tier list post I made, one per day. I'm trying to gain some traction with the tier list. I know that many people are unhappy they can't watch them. And maybe I should have made it so they're just exclusive for a bit. But YouTube doesn't let you change it, so I'm committing to this for quite some time at least, and we'll see how I do it in the future. But yeah, I do intend to do a tier list stream once per month as well. So we'll see if that also helps. But yeah, if you're interested in my tier list, then as a subscriber to me of any tier, you get to watch them. And I already have like 7 videos out, with the latest being the January 2024 tier list, adding all of the December 2023 legends. Also, I'm still just so happy about the new layout. It's a big improvement. Just having the chat displayed helps a lot. And I didn't have to get any plugins. Yeah, we're taking this on with the Roger Odin lead as well. One thing I had to do with my layout though was that the color of the YouTube chat I am mirroring on the layout was a slightly different black than my own layout. So I had to change all of my layout to the same black, so that took a little bit. Bobby says, how many people have gotten the friend list tier? It's a few. It's like 5 highest tier and 1 in the second highest, and all of those can get to my friend list. Not all of them have joined my Discord, and if you don't join my Discord, I can't give you a lot of the perks. But yeah, I hope they join eventually if they want the perks. Jefferson says you could re-upload the tier list videos so that everyone can see them. The thing is that my perks doesn't state that it works like that, and I'm not allowed to change any perk after they are committed. So what I have to do in the future if I want to change anything is delete a tier, so everybody part of that tier gets unsubscribed and make a new tier basically. And I might do that in the future, but I don't want to be like, oh, I made this new thing, but after 5 days, whatever, I regret it. So I'm not going to make any changes for like at least half a year. I feel like that will be very silly. But yeah, in retrospect, I could have done it differently, but yeah, it's always easy to think afterwards. It is what it is. Like, the idea from the beginning was always to make the tier list as thanks for the people who support me the most. So, in the end, I do it for those people, so yeah. But yeah, in total right now I have 11 subscribers, so it's gone faster than I thought. And then you don't know, like, maybe that's the cap for me. Like, I'm not a big YouTuber or anything. Or it might be that I'm not making the kind of content or streams that people enjoy. That could also be the thing. But I will remain what I always say is that I don't need anyone to do it. Just as long as you like my content and watch my videos, that helps a lot. In the end, this is just a hobby. Like, I do get some money from doing this, but it's not close to what I earn from my real job, so. But of course, thinking long term, it will be cool to earn more money from YouTube. And if I earn enough, I could maybe even put less hours into my other job and put more time into the channel. Something like that. But that's very long term talk. Nothing that's going to happen anytime soon. Flippo says, just keep PK with your video today, Ty. Yeah, I'm happy that team helped so many. I'm very happy with that PKA team. Yeah, you were the first, Jefferson. You're the OG. Oh, even Toad commented the team. That's nice of him. Yeah, I didn't mean that they are public after 6 months. I mean that after 6 months, Jefferson, I could rework some or all of my tiers if I wanted to, without feeling like I flip-flop all of the time. Like, there has to be some consistency, I feel like. So I'm going to be consistent now. I committed to this. Let's do the best of it, and we'll see in the future. And like, if I eventually end up getting a good amount of subscribers, then yeah, well, I just have to wait and see. I'll continue doing my thing. I'm getting a bit more comfortable streaming though. Oh, looks like I lose this. I shouldn't have brought Quick Slasher versus Shooter. Like, Quick Slasher is purely for strength. T-Man D54 says, is the Blitz guide up? There will be no Blitz guide, sadly. We have to wait until the content drops, which is why I've been preparing potential scenarios. Okay, this is over. Let's give up. Yeah, I should have done that, but yeah, I just have so much fun using Quick Slasher, so I just went for it. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. It's past 10 PM for me. So it means that the Blitz starts in like less than half a day. So I'm going to chill a bit, not think about OPTC. And then try and wake up maybe 2 hours before. And I'll be live a bit before the Blitz start. And then I'm going to be streaming quite a bit this weekend if things goes to plan. So yeah, thanks for all of you guys watching, and if you want to support me, consider becoming a member and getting access to my nice emotes, but it's up to you. Just watching helps me a lot, so I appreciate it. So I'll give you my hand up emoji to say bye to you guys, and yeah, I'll see you guys here for the Blitz. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.